Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Anim Klesha. So, in the last video we saw about the expressionless maid, that is Lilia, how she was almost killed in the palace while protecting the princess, to how she got employed at the Paul's house to help Janet giving birth to Rudius. She was actually become afraid of Rudius because of the way he smiles, quite a disgusting smile, but that smile gradually faded away with time when he got confined to the room on the second floor reading the magic textbook. In this video, we are going to start chapter number 3, Magic Textbook. But before we get into the video, please like my video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done yet. Let's dig in. About 2 years has passed since I was reincarnated. My legs and waist were starting to become strong enough for me to walk on my feet, and I was beginning to learn this world's language. Having decided to live on seriously, I started to consider what I could do. What did I need in my life? Studying, sports, and skill sets. As a baby, there were little I could do. The most I could do was to bury my face into someone's chest. And when I did that to the maid, she made an unhappy expression. That maid definitely hated kids. Realizing that I can do sports a little later in life, I started searching for books in house to learn words. It's more important to be literate. There's a near 100% literacy rate amongst Japanese, but many had poor English skill. So they balk at the idea of going overseas and even treated foreign language as a mere skill set. Therefore, learning this world's language was my first assignment. There were 5 books in this house. Could it be that books in this world are expensive, or that Paul and Janet don't read books? It was probably both these reasons. It was unbelievable to me, who owned thousands of books, though they are all light novels. There were only 5 books, but they were sufficient for me to learn to recognize words. This world language was similar to Japanese, so it was easy for me to pick up. Even though the letters were completely different, learning how to speak went very smoothly. Father read me the contents of the book many times, so learning the vocabulary went smoothly. Perhaps it had something to do with this body's ability to memorize well. After being able to read the language, I found this book content very interesting. In my past life, I never thought of learning as interesting. Thinking back about it, it was exactly the same as memorizing information from the internet. How can it not be interesting? Nevertheless, did my father really think an infant would be able to understand the contents of that book? It was fine for me, but any normal 1-year-old kid would have frowned and started bawling. These were the 5 books at home. Traveling around the world. This is the guidebook that contains the name and unique characters of various countries in this world. Fedora Monsters, Ecology and Weakness. The book that describes the monsters that appear in the Fedora region and the way to handle them. Guide to Magic. A guidebook that explained how to use magic attacks from the elementary rank to the advanced rank. Perugius Legend. A fairy tale about the summoner named Perugius who traveled along with his companions battling the demon god, saving the world, punishing evil, and rewarding the good. 3 Swordmans and the Labyrinth. It's the adventure of the 3 talented swordsmen of different sword styles who encountered each other and entered the labyrinth. Leaving aside the 2 battle novels, the other 3 let me learn a lot, especially the guide about magic book. To me, who came from the world without magic, things recorded here got me really interested. Reading through it, I understand few basics. First of all, magic can be broadly classified into 3 categories. Attack magic attacks a target. Healing magic heals a target. Summoning magic calls out something. 3 types, easy to understand. There are various functions, but according to guidebook, magic was originally developed for war. It still isn't really used much besides battle and hunting. To use magic, you must have mana. Conversely, as long as you have mana, you could use magic. Easy enough. There are 2 ways of using mana. use the mana within your body, draw out mana from something that contains mana. It must be one of these two. I can't think of a good example. It's probably something like a home generator for the former and the battery for the latter. Long time ago, people used their mana to use magic. As generation passed, magic was researched into. The difficulty spiked and the mana requirement increased exponentially as a result. This was fine for the people who had a lots of mana, but those with a lesser amount of mana couldn't use this sort of magic. Thus, the magician of the past thought of a ways to draw out mana from somewhere else to fulfill the magic's requirement. There are two ways to activate magic: incantation and magic array. There's really no need to explain here, right? To activate a spell, either you need to utter a chant through the mouth or draw a magic array. Magic arrays were the norm a very long time ago, but incantation is currently the mainstream. In the distant past, the simplest incantation required about 1-2 minutes. Damn, that's long. It wasn't very long, but this method was difficult to use in battle. Of course, that's why I said it's long. In contrast, once the magic array was drawn, it could be used repeatedly. There were certain magicians who successfully reduced the incantation time, thus incantation became the norm. The simplest incantation took about 5 seconds, so basic magic attacks could be used with incantation, but unless the situation is urgent, complicated magic spells are still cast with magic arrays. A person mana is set when they are born. A normal RPG increased your MP as you level up, but this doesn't look the case in this world. Basically, everyone's a warrior by profession, but saying that term makes me feel like there was something of a change. What about me? Apparently, the amount of mana one possessed was hereditary. The fact that my mother was capable of magic meant I could probably hope for certain amount of innate mana. It's a little worrying. Even if my parents were talented, I don't think my genetic makeup is capable of that. In any case, I began to try out the simplest magic. The guidebook contained methods for both incantation and magic formation, but since incantation the norm and there's no place for me to draw magic arrays, I started incantation. It seems that the more complicated the spell was, the longer the incantation time would be. In fact, extremely complicated spells had to be chanted in conjunction with magic arrays. That's not a problem in the beginning, however. It seems a skilled magician can use magic without incantation, voiceless incantation, or reduce the chance, something like that. But why was it that a skilled person doesn't need incantation? The amount of mana required to cast the technique doesn't change, or even if you leveled up, your MP won't increase either. Or was it more skilled you are, the less mana you'd use? Or even if that does decrease once mana uses, there's no reason to skip steps. Whatever, I'll just try it out first. I hold the guidebook in my left hand, stretched out my right, and read out the words. Bestow the protection of water on the place thy demandest. Let thine crystal clear flow here. What a wall. I felt the sensation of blood gathering in my right hand. My blood feels as if it is being squeezed out, and the water droplet of the size of the fist appeared in front of my right hand. Whoa! The moment I showed amazement, the water bullet fell onto the floor, dampening it. The book said the water bullet should be shot out, but it had fallen instead. Perhaps my incantation had been broken, causing the spell to fail. Concentrate, concentrate. The sensation of blood gathering in my right hand, this feeling. I once again raised my right hand, recalled the feeling from before, and imagined it in my mind. I don't know how much mana I have, but it's best not to think that I can do this many times. Concentrate and let every attempt be successful. First, I had to imagine it, then repeat it over and over in my mind, then cast it in reality. If it ended in failure, I'll imagine it again in my mind until I can do it perfectly in my head. This was how I practiced every move in fighting games in the past. Because of that, I didn't really fail when I tried to execute a combo. I should have no problems if I practice using this method, I hope. Be- the, a deep breath. I sent the blood flowing in my toes and top of my head into my right hand, using that feeling to gather power, and then have the feeling of firing it out from my palm. Carefully, carefully, with every heartbeat, gathering it bit by bit. Water, 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 water blade, water ball, water ball, water ball, panties. Evil thoughts were mixed into it. One more time. Concentrate. Squeezing out water. Ha! I unconsciously shouted it like a monk and the water blade came out. He? Huh. Plop. The moment I shot surprise, the water blade flew away too quickly. Ah. I didn't chant just now, right? What I did was to recall the feeling of using the spell and imitating it in my mind. But can it be that just redoing the flow of magic made incantation unnecessary? Was voiceless incantation that simple? Wasn't it supposed to be an upper class technique? If it's that easy to succeed, what's the use of incantation? Even the novice like me can cast magic using voiceless incantation. Concentrating the mana in my fingertips and determining the shape in my mind, that was basically it. In that case, incantation was completely unnecessary. Everyone can just do this instead. Can it be that incantation, the activation of magic? There's no need to replicate the feeling of gathering blood. I can just complete it if I let out my voice. It might be something like that. It's just like an automatic car. One can actually change it to a manual and it will still work. Incantation will automatically cast magic. There will be several advantages to using incantations. Firstly, it's easy. Instead of explaining it as gathering the blood from the blood vessels of my body, everyone can simply recite and succeed instead. Both teacher and student will have an easier time. And after teaching this over and over again, it will become incantation is something consequential. Secondly, it's convenient to use. Needless to say, attack magic meant to be used in combat. Instead of closing your eyes and going while concentrating, it's faster to recite it quickly. It's a question of which is easier, to run with all of one's strength while drawing a clear picture or to run with all of one's strength while chanting. It must be different for various persons. Maybe there are those who would find it easier with the former. I quickly flipped through the magic textbook, but I found nothing on voiceless incantations. That's weird. Based on my experience, it wasn't that hard. Maybe it's a special talent I have, but others can't use it at all. Maybe I can think of it this way. A magician typically starts out as a beginner and ends up as a veteran, and everyone uses the incantation method to cast. After thousands of times, their bodies would be used to incantation, and when it came to voiceless incantation, they didn't know what to do. Therefore, as it's not disseminated, it's not recorded in the guidebook. Wow, that explains it. Then that means I'm not an ordinary person. That's amazing, right? It's like I'm using a tip sheet. They used a crime catalyst without singing an oratorio. I don't know what oratorio is. But all I did was use this catalyst like a normal and open the gate. That kind of feeling. Woo! I'm getting excited. No. Calm down. The past me was deceived by this feeling. Because I'm better at using the computer than the average person and got that feeling that was some kind of chosen one, I gradually became greedy and eventually ended up as a failure. I have to be humble. The most important thing is to not treat myself like someone superior to others. I'm a novice with a beginner's luck and managed to hit the boiling pins with a strike. Good. I need to first rely on the chant to use a spell. Then, based on the feeling I have experienced when casting, I can practice the voiceless incantation repeatedly. I would just use that format to learn. Then, let's do it again. But when I stretched out my right hand, I feel strangely sluggish. The feeling of fatigue. Is it because I'm concentrating too hard? No. I was at least considered a pro at internet gaming, self proclaimed, of course. I was a man who could continue hunting for 6 full days without sleeping if I needed to. My concentration wouldn't vanish from just 2 attempts. That is to say, my MP depleted. Goodness, if they say the mana amount is decided at birth, my mana is only enough to fire 2 water balls? That's just too little, right? Or is it because I'm a beginner? My efficiency when using the mana properly is very low. No. How can that be? To be safe, I tried firing off the spell one more time, but in the end I fainted. Oh, really? Rudius, if you are sleepy, just go to the toilet and then sleep on the bed. When I woke up, I was treated as if I had fallen asleep when reading the book and wet the floor. Damn, I got scolded for wetting the floor even when I'm so old? Bro, you are just a 1-year-old kid, remember that. At least for others. Damn it. I'm only 2, right? Wetting the bed is still forgivable. But seriously, isn't my mana too little? This made me feel really powerless. Well, even if it's just 2 water bullets, the next thing is how to use it. In any case, I should practice to the point where I can fire it right away. The next day, I was fine even when after firing 4 water bullets. I only felt tired after the 5th shot. Based on my experience yesterday, I know I'll faint if I fired another shot, and I decided to stop. So I began to think. My current maximum 6 shot. That's 2 times more than yesterday. I looked at the barrel worth of 5 water bullets and wondered the reason why the number of shots increased by 2 times from yesterday till today. Was it because I was already tired yesterday? Or was it because I consumed more MP yesterday? I'm casting them although voiceless incantation, but there shouldn't be any difference between the 2 methods. I don't get it. Maybe the number will continue to increase tomorrow. It's the next day. The number of water bullets I could create had increased 11 times. It feels like I can increase the number of shots I can fire with the number of shots actually fired. If my theory is true, by tomorrow I should be able to use the spell 21 times. Another day passed. To confirm my guess, I casted the spell 5 times and stopped. Another day passed, and my limit became 26 times. My limit really is the same as the number of times I had cast the spell. You actually bluffed me. What do you mean a person's total mana is decided at birth? You are determining talent, an intangible thing you can't even see with your own eyes. A child's potential isn't what an adult can determine. Well, this also means that I can't just blindly trust something from a book. This book's probably saying something like, humans' happiness has limits, that sort of thing. Or was it referring to the results of training? Did it mean that after rigorous training, there's a mana cap? Or it's still too early to draw conclusions? This is still just a hypothesis after all. Something like it's based on how much you can grow or something. When casting magic during infancy, the maximum value will increase exponentially or something like that. That's the exact reason. I can't ignore the possibility that maybe it's due to my special body. Nah, it's not due to that. No, it's not good to treat myself as a special. In my original world, it's said that the athletic abilities does increase exponentially during puberty. But the problem was that after puberty, no matter how hard one try, there's not much progress. Even in this world, for something like magic, a human body structure shouldn't be any different. It's basically the same. then there's only one thing to do: train hard as possible before puberty ends. Of course, and you didn't even reach the puberty right now, just 2 years old. From the next day onwards, I depleted my mana to the fullest every day. At the same time, the number of spells I could use increased. As long as I can remember the feeling, it's easy to use the voiceless incantation. Anyway, my short-term target to completely master elementary magic. Elementary magic is just the term implies. It had the lowest rank amongst all the attack magic. Water and flame bullets are considered the basic even amongst the elementary spells. There are 7 difficulty ranks to magic: elementary, intermediate, advanced, saint, king, emperor, and god. I read that an ordinary educated magician can improve this specialized magic up to the advanced rank, while the typical uneducated is able to cast elementary to intermediate rank spell. If we are going by rank beyond advanced, based on this system, those called the fire saint or the water saint are considered to be one of a kind. The saint rank. I'm yearning for that a little. But that magic guide book only has fire, water, wind and earth systems up to the advanced rank, where I can learn the spells rank saint and above. No, it's better not to think too far ahead. It's the same too for the RPG maker. If one started off by creating the strongest monster, there's a high chance of being rejected. One should start from a slime. Though I didn't even finish the slime, even though I started from it. Now the book contained the following elementary water spells. Water bullet. A water bullet can be shot, water ball. Second, the water shield. Water that rises from the ground to form a wall, water shield. Third, water arrow. A 20 centimeter dart that's fired, water arrow. Fourth, ice strike. Creates a column of ice to smite an enemy, ice smash. Fifth, ice weapon. Forms a sword of ice, ice blade. I tried out everything. Even though each spell was elementary, the amount of mana it took to cast them varied. Using the water bullet as my standard, a single cast expends 2 to 20 water bullet worth of mana based on the spell. Basically, I practiced only water magic. It would have been a problem if I tried the fire magic and caused a fire disaster. Speaking of fire, it seems the amount of mana used is correlated to the temperature. Higher the rank, the colder the ice got. While the book said certain spells could fly out of hand, whether it's water bullet or the water arrow, I could never get them to work properly. But I am unable to shoot anything, whether it's the water bullet or the water arrow, even though the book tells me so. Why is that so? Where have I gone wrong? I didn't get it. The book said something about the spell size and speed. Can it be that after creating the bullet, I need to control it using magic? Let's try it out then. Oh, the water bullet, it became bigger. Oh, plop, oh. But it still fell onto the floor. After that, I tried various means to change the bullet size. I created 2 different bullets at the same time. I changed the size of the bullets at the same time. But even though it's a new discovery, none of the bullets looks like flying forward. Fire and wind aren't affected by gravity and can float in the air. And in the end though, they'll disappear after a certain amount of time. Lol, air's not affected by gravity? Okay, shut it. I tried using the wind to shoot a floating fireball, but it felt wrong somewhere. 2 months later. At the end of all the mistake, I finally succeeded in making water bullet fly. By now, I have basic understanding of the concept behind incantation. There are certain steps to incantation: creation, setting a size, setting a firing speed, and activation. Within this, the magic spell is done once the user determines the size and speed, which means after the chant, the spell automatically takes a shape. Second, after this, within a fixed time frame, increase the mana input to adjust the size. third, after the size adjustment during the fixed amount of time frame with extra mana inputs was the adjustment to the speed setting. Fourth, once the preparation period over, the magic spell leaves the caster's hand and automatically flies towards its target. This is the sequence of the entire thing. This is the most probably correct, I think. The trick is that after chanting I need to add more mana twice. If there's no adjustment to the size, the firing speed adjustment won't occur. It's no wonder that when I tried to fire the bullet, the only thing that happened was the size changing, nothing else. And to add on, when I'm doing voiceless incantation, I'll have to process all these by myself. Even though it's a hassle, it can reduce the time needed to change the size and the firing speed. It's possible to be several times faster than the incantation. Also, modification can be done during the creation phase of a voiceless incantation. For example, what the book didn't record was how to freeze the water bullet to create the ice bullet. If I practice this, I might be able to use the Kaiser Phoenix attack. My face full of pride. This is becoming interesting. With different ideas, I can create a variety of effects. But the basics are definitely important. I'll have to wait until my overall mana increases before experimenting. Increase my mana capacity. Use voiceless incantation until it's easy as breathing. These are the two assessments. It's easy to have a setbacks if I suddenly have a large goal. It's best to start with something small. Alright, time to work hard. And so, I kept practicing elementary magic until I nearly fainted. Okay guys, that's it for the chapter number 3. Hope you liked it. See you in the next chapter, chapter number 4 in the next video. Stay safe and take care.